So you got all the flat areas are gonna have the grass, and then the vertical areas have like all the mountains and cool stuff. Adventure farming game, kind of like Stardew Valley. Oh man, Stardew Valley. Man, I picked that game up, and I pretty much just like took a couple days of vacation. I was just like, holy shit, this game is amazing. It's like crack. I think the first time I picked it up, I played it for like 20 hours straight because I was just like, this game is amazing. Alright, so what I think I'm going to use my sphere versus box and my box versus box calculations for this stuff against all of these things in the world. And I'm going to see if any of these things actually work. Because I wrote all these such a long time ago. That I have absolutely no idea if they work. So let me take a look at this. So when you were working on your water stuff there, Salzu, what was like the big cool thing that you found out, or that you'd like to share about it? Because I'm interested in how you implemented some of your things, because I always like hearing how people solve problems. Also, yeah, Lucas, Dawngate was shut down. There was a lot of stuff around it. Dawngate was actually canceled, I think, twice during its development. Like, it was canceled in the sense that there were days where the dev team went across the street to the bar and were like, our game has been canceled and we're all going to get drunk today instead of doing work, which is a tradition in the game industry. And but like, it was a pretty fun game. The big problem with it is, I don't know. I think a lot of it had to do with, I think the executives just didn't like the game. So, it sounds like a decent tradition. For you, it was slow maps? Yeah. Yeah, and Unity is that's a good, if I was doing mobile stuff, I'd be using Unity. Hands down. Alright, so we're going to need our sphere versus box here. I don't know, and there was one thing I think that would have really saved Dawngate, and one of the things that, when I was there, I resigned from Dawngate because I didn't think we were going to make it, and I was frustrated because of that, so I went and joined Molten Games probably about 6 to 8 months before it all got, sent down the river. And like in my exit, I was talking to the general manager, and he's like, "Well, what would it take to make you stay?" And I was saying like, "We need another UI guy. We need another server dev. We need these more artists. Need these better tools. We basically need like 5 different people on the team." And he's like, "If you can get a better team, then I'm gonna stay and we're gonna ship this. But there's no way in hell we can do this with this team." And the guy's like, "Jesus Christ, dude, like, that's what I've been trying to do, is get all those heads, and you leaving is like the worst possible thing for that." And I was like, "But there's no way in hell we can do it without it." He's like, "Well, shit." But yeah. But otherwise, I think it would have been all pretty awesome. Can't really do all the fun stuff with shaders on mobile. God, I know. Actually, I don't know, because I have not made a mobile game. So all I can do is feign sympathy. And the one thing there that I think would have really saved Dawngate is also kind of sad, but basically EA acquired the Star Wars license for games, which is why you got like Battlefront and all the rest there. And we had the opportunity probably to make like a Star Wars based MOBA and stuff like that, and there were some conversations about that. And I was like, do you guys hate money? Like, Jesus Christ, we need to switch our game to this. We'd then get the headcount, then we'd ship this game, and, amazing. But people stuck to their guns with, we want our intellectual property to be fresh and new. And I was like, yeah, well, I'd like to keep my job. Like, there's some sort of thing of, like, intellectual, like, artistic integrity, but then there's also, like, do you guys... I mean, you wouldn't have been crazy about a Star Wars Mobile Locus, but let's just say that sort of shit prints money. It doesn't matter if it's good or not. Like, when you're in a corporation, your investors can sue your corporation for making bad decisions. So I'm not trying to say, like, it's all moral and justified and everything else, except it's moral and justified to keep your job at some point. Yeah, that's true. They felt ripped off. Yeah, well, that's how it goes sometimes. Okay, I need to actually focus on this, I believe. So do these things actually work with, like, server versus box? Let's take a look at the actual code. Do we have physics details open? No. Of course not. Alright, sphere versus box. We have get ready A for plane, all this sort of stuff, the dot product. Alright, so theoretically this crap will work, but I've never used it before, I don't think. Nothing epic is happening in there. Well, it looks cool, and that's what matters. Alright, so we want F vector, we want our position, we're going to want our box, so we want... We need a vector and a half box extends, so how do we get that on a primitive component? Is there like a get bounds? I know I get the bounds somehow. I think I did it in the movement code. I'm not seeing the quick answer online. Alright, so yeah, get bounding box for component. So let's see what this thing is got. Alright, well it looks like I can just get a another bounding box for component and use like U primitive component. Is there like a get body setup function on the U primitive component? Yeah, it's a get body setup aggeom. We'll be good to go. So let's add this in here. see, it's get bounding box for component. Alright, so we're going to go through all these actors that we have already, and we're going to say bool is box equals object is box. So if is box, then we're going to do box v box, otherwise we're going to do sphere v box. Yeah, it's always interesting to see which games make it, and like when I was working on Dungate, there was a big reason I didn't think the game was going to make it, and that's because people are just stubborn. Like instead of wanting the game to be successful, people wanted to be right a lot more on the team than be successful. They wanted kind of their own thing, rather than like we want the game to be the game. It was more I want my part to be my part as I want it to be. Let's see what this F box has got on it. We've got the min and max. So get center and extents is a thing. So we can do that. So box v box. Let's see, we're going to want the actually I can just let me just throw this stuff in here. I'm just kind of distracted right now, so making this stuff on the stack is going to be basically a 0, and we're already doing some math checks, so it really doesn't matter. Alright, so we want P1, B1, P1, B1. Alright, so that's going to be our center and our extents, and then our let's see, component to world, or component to world dot rotation. Alright, and then it's going to be this O.m position, O.m extents. This extents is wrong. We're going to want the rotation of this. And we also want to apply the scale. So we just want this before this, but we don't want the rotation. So be the test extents, time the scale. And then we want the object, get transform, get rotation. So alright, sphere v box, we're going to want the P1 in radius. So that's going to be O.in position, O.in radius, and then center extents and component world. Whatever, kind of ridiculous code, but we'll see if it works. Curious to see if my box, the whatever, actually does work. And I'm sure anybody who would see this video and hear anything I have to say about Dongate would probably just call me an asshole and hate me. And to that I say, well, you probably already hated me. So, no love lost. It's just so funny. All these overlap things just don't work. God. You know? I just like that forum comment from earlier. It'd be like, maybe someday Epic Games will ship a complete feature. But today is not that day. There'll be one day when the release actually releases something that isn't broken. But today is not that day. Embody setup is not a member of this. Yeah, that's because we need get body setup. So hopefully we'll be able to mess around with this a little bit. and see it do its thing. So let's check this out. We've got this thing here, and let's look at it. We have the position, we've got the radius, the extents. It is WFO unknown. But it is a box. The extents are 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. I think that's correct. Alright, so test extents are going to be 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Box v box. Not colliding. What? Damn it. Wait, center is 0? Extensors. What is this? Does this thing just not have any body setup? The box is a big fat 0. Wow, okay. Well, that's not good. Two-man team? Yes, it is just me and just Adam. We are all there is. Alright, well, I should be able to... I've already got this information on here. Where is it? Alright, so we have our top left and top right and all that sort of stuff. Alright, so our center is just going to be component, get transform, let's see, component to world. Alright, it looks like those things are correct. So the extents are going to be in the X and the Y. I don't want to call that. Interesting way to do lighting. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Oh yeah, Adam has all the. We got like normal maps on our 2D characters and all that sort of stuff, and we'll see how it all looks. Well, we're just using Unreal's lighting system, so we're not doing anything crazy complicated. They're just simple normal maps. And he's going to be hand painting all the normals, which he doesn't have them hand painted for what we got right now. He just did some experiments with like Fatsack and some of the simpler characters just to make sure it all works. But when we actually are closer to the end, he'll have like a whole bunch of polish passes where he goes back and hand paints a whole bunch of normals, so it really looks like somebody drew it, as opposed to like the generated normals that look all stupid. So let's see what we got for our extents. We are 5000X, 3500Y. Oh, that's 50,000X. I was like, that looks like 5,000's wrong. All right, 35,000. I think are we wider than we are tall? And it said we collided. We are wider than we are tall. All right, let's move ourselves outside of this thing and do another check. And that totally worked. Alright, let's move ourselves back in. Make ourselves totally inside, and let's check again. Alright, we were successful. Let's move ourselves out. And successful. Let's move ourselves out in a different direction. Like out over here. Worked. Alright, so what kind of node is this actually? This is... This object type is unknown. Let's have it be an input. And let's do our water struct. Let's tick it once. Did it not? Did it not do its thing? Let's go take a look at it. Transform vector didn't seem to actually work here on this transform. What were the test extents? I mean, supposedly the test extents are 1,000 on everything. Oh, I see. I see what's going on. I didn't add it to... Well, I did add it to the inputs. So calculating our paths, and we've got 2 inputs here, so when we calculate this path, oh god, this frickin' bug with Visual Studio, whenever you go over this init function, for some reason Visual Studio locks up. Come on, Visual Studio, you can pull out of it. Or maybe you can't. The path from none as it starts on land. Is it colliding with itself? It very well may be that our collision check is returning that. It may. I can just look at the texture real quick and see if this works. Yeah, you can see it right there. Yeah, so it's detecting the cube as ground. So it's not finding a path from that input because it's literally the ground. So what we need to do is open up this blueprint. It's this water object. Can we take a capture thumbnail of it? Yeah, we'll just throw a thumbnail of this horrible crap. Alright, so this box collider and everything else here, I'm just going to turn collision off. Alright, this object type is going to be an input. Let's make sure to save. And let's recalculate this height map. See, it's gone. Alright. There we go. All these particles are like going in the wrong directions. So this input here is trying to get to both outputs. That's pretty damn funny. So basically for a situation like this, you would only want one output over here, and like this would be another waterfall coming down, and this waterfall would path over here, and it would work. Alright, so let's get let's remove the other systems real quick. Actually, let's try a non-box. Let's try a sphere. Alright, looks like the sphere worked. It would be nice to be able to click on this thing. Oh, can we? Alright, let's see if use box. Can we click on the box? How come we can't click on the box? Let's just Google it real quick with Cannot click on box collider in Real Editor. Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know why we can't click on the box. Well, why don't we just add a sphere collider component? We'll just be like clickable sphere. It's inconsistent. Am I clicking on a widget or a gizmo or something else in here? Is that what's going on? Yeah, I guess I'm clicking on a little gizmo in there, so this clickable sphere is just BS. Well, it's probably good enough. Alright, well, let's go in there and save this. Alright, Lucas, you have a good one. I'm probably going to be wrapping up here in a couple minutes anyway. I'm going to make it so all these objects are real objects instead of fake objects, and I'm going to clean up the code a little bit, and then I'll probably be done for today. Finish your background painting. 13 hours of work. Well, obviously you need to get back to work and do more. But good job. That is gotta feel good to get that done. Alright, so we've got our inputs and all that stuff. So let's go throw them out there. Let's go get them going on. Well, I'm glad that my math functions work. I ported these over from a previous project that I had written with some math stuff in there, and I wasn't sure if the Unreal math stuff was going to work with it. And there's a reason I did that. I grabbed these from things that I worked with before, was because sometimes you just need the math. It's like, I don't care about using your system that you built in your whatever physics land. I need like Sphere Box, just like the function I wrote that I know is mathematically correct. Alright, so no ticking because we can't tick that which has no life. So let's clone this water object. Alright, so this is going to be an output. Let's use a circle. call it sinkhole. Let's call this one this is so annoying. I would just want to click on you, you stupid bastard. Call this one test input. That's what you got? You got this sweet greenhouse, which has absolutely no plants in it. That looks really cool. All the shadows. The shadows are placeholders for harmony. Alright. That's cool. And you painted all the wood and all that texture on there. That looks like a bench that'd be really scared about running my hand over because I get like a million splinters in it. You know, just like You paint everything. That looks cool. Looks like you worked hard on it. Alright, cool. Yeah, this is looking pretty decent. I really need to put a clickable object, a bigger clickable object inside of this. Let's find a mesh to throw in here. Editor sphere. Let's just copy this editor sphere, throw it in our water test content. Can I run that water? What do you mean? Can I run the water? Alright, so if we got a sphere in the editor here, so if we throw this on here, got a little widget on there. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And let's change its material. Can you let it move? Yeah, I can do that. I think, like, you mean just go tick the simulation a few times? I just want to grab a few things here real quick. Yeah, but this is just our static mesh has a collision with the world. Grr. Yeah, so it kind of, we can tick this thing out there, and we have all that water chunking around. We can go move this somewhere else, like move it over here. So you can do all sorts of stuff with this now. And I want to make this this little ball here translucent. So let's see, I want this water flow object material, which is using this world grid crap, which we don't want at all. Let's just grab a color. That looks pretty decent. Yeah, it's okay, and we'll be able to drag the objects around and do all that stuff, and it will work, which is all we need. We don't need all that much. What is is it constant 4D vector? Yeah. Let's just make this water colored. And this is going to be translucent, opacity. It's just a blue ball. That's all we want. And I think actually, would it be nice to have the colors of these widgets be representative of the material? I mean, that'd be kind of cool. So it would change the color of the object based on what you threw in there. So you'd be able to see that, oh, this is an output node and this is an input node based on the color of the material. Why don't I just do that? We'll just have convert to parameter. And we'll call it color. I mean, it's a creative name, right? So what we're going to do is go to our construction script. And we're going to get this static mesh. We're going to get material create. Is it like create material instance dynamic? Do we do it in this construction script? Yeah, create dynamic material instance. Material interface reference. Is there like get material? And we need to set scalar. Set scalar, or it's set vector parameter value. So that's going to be, that's on a vector, you know, a thing. Set vector parameter value. I keep selecting the wrong one. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so I'm going to create some linear colors. Let's say this will be the input color, and it should be a linear color. Alright, so linear color for the input, output color, and a repulse color. Alright, input color, let's compile it. So grab the color out of here, and I think we're going to switch on the object type. Switch on the water object type. There it is. So we're going to have all these sets and all this stuff here. And some of this stuff is kind of cumbersome in blueprints. And this is one of those things that's kind of cumbersome. Yeah, so we can't hook up